The full moon hung heavy over Blackwood Forest, casting a pale ghostly glow through the dense canopy of twisted trees. A thick fog curled around the trunks, as if the earth itself exhaled secrets long buried. Ravenswood Asylum loomed ahead, its decaying silhouette a scar against the night sky. The building's cracked stone walls, choked with ivy, seemed to pulse with a malevolent life of their own. A rusted sign, barely clinging to its post, read Ravenswood Asylum, EST, 1892. The wind carried faint whispers, indistinguishable yet chilling, like voices trapped in time. Somewhere in the distance, a crow's sharp caw pierced the silence, answered only by the rustle of leaves. 4 figures stood at the rusted iron gates, their breaths visible in the cold night air. Layla, bold and fearless, adjusted her jacket, her eyes gleaming with excitement as she surveyed the asylum. She had planned this adventure for weeks, determined to capture footage for their ghost hunting vlog that would go viral. Amir, ever the skeptic, fiddled with his camera, its lens glinting under the moonlight. He muttered under his breath about the cliché of exploring abandoned buildings, though his curiosity kept him rooted. Sana, clutching a flashlight, scanned the darkness nervously, her mind replaying her grandfather's tales of Ravenswood stories of patients who vanished, of screams that never stopped. Raheel, the most reluctant, gripped his backpack straps tightly, his eyes darting to every shadow, already regretting agreeing to this. Layla pushed the creaking gates open, the metal groaning as if protesting their intrusion. The group stepped forward, their footsteps crunching on the gravel path leading to the asylum's entrance. A flicker of movement caught the camera's shadowy shape in a broken window, gone before anyone could focus. The air grew heavier, pressing against their chests, as they crossed the threshold into the asylum's cavernous lobby. Dust motes danced in their flashlight beams, revealing peeling wallpaper, overturned chairs, and scattered medical charts. The faint drip of water echoed, mingling with whispers that seemed to seep from the walls themselves. Sana's beam lingered on a chart, its faded ink detailing patient 47. Severe delusions, restrained indefinitely. The words sent a chill down her spine, though she said nothing. Layla, undeterred, urged the group deeper into the asylum, her excitement infectious despite the oppressive atmosphere. Amir kept his camera rolling, capturing the decay-rusted gurneys, shattered glass, and graffiti scrawled in frantic strokes. "They're still here." Raheel's unease grew with every step, his breathing shallow as he glanced over his shoulder. Convinced something watched them, Sana, though curious, felt a gnawing dread, her grandfather's warnings echoing in her mind. The group moved toward the west wing, drawn by rumors of the surgical ward, a place whispered to be the heart of Ravenswood's horrors. The corridor to the surgical ward was a claustrophobic tunnel of decay. Bloodstained curtains hung in tatters, swaying slightly despite the still air. The flashlights cast long, distorted shadows that seemed to writhe independently. Graffiti on the walls grew more ominous. "Don't listen, you can't leave," as if written by hands desperate to warn. A faint thumping, like a heartbeat, pulsed through the floor, growing louder as they approached the operating room. Whispers swirled around them, forming incoherent pleas to leave or stay, their source impossible to pinpoint. Sana froze, her flashlight trembling as she swore she heard a child's giggle, but the others pressed forward, unaware. The operating room was a nightmare frozen in time. A rusted surgical table dominated the center, surrounded by broken monitors and scattered scalpels. A cracked mirror on the wall reflected their flashlights, but for a fleeting moment, it showed something else: pale, emaciated figures in tattered hospital gowns, their hollow eyes fixed on the group. The reflection vanished as quickly as it appeared, leaving Sana gasping and Raheel backing toward the door. Amir checked his camera, insisting it caught nothing, though his voice betrayed a tremor. Layla, ever defiant, dismissed it as a trick of the light, but the air grew heavier. The whispers now a cacophony of overlapping voices. The surgical table began to tremble, a low vibration that sent a scalpel skittering across the floor. The group barely noticed at first, too focused on the mirror, but the shaking intensified, accompanied by a guttural growl that seemed to rise from the table itself. A piercing scream erupted from nowhere, shattering the tension. The flashlights flickered, casting the room into brief darkness. Panic seized the group, and they bolted from the room, their footsteps pounding down the corridor. The camera, still in Amir's hands, caught fleeting glimpses of shadowy figures lining the walls, their forms indistinct but undeniably present. The graffiti had changed, now reading, "You can't leave," in jagged, fresh strokes. The group's flight took them back to the lobby, but the asylum seemed to shift around them. Doors they hadn't noticed before stood ajar, leading to new corridors that hadn't existed moments ago. The whispers grew into a chant, stay with us," circling them like predators. Layla, still clutching her bravado, led them toward what she thought was the exit, but the path twisted into a maze of identical hallways. Sano's flashlight caught a glimpse of a figure at the end of one corridor, woman in a tattered gown, her head tilted at an unnatural angle, her mouth open in a silent scream. The figure vanished when Sana blinked, but the image burned into her mind. Rahil's panic reached a breaking point. He dropped his backpack, shouting that they were trapped, that the asylum wouldn't let them go. Amir, struggling to maintain his skepticism, filmed the walls, where the graffiti now seemed to writhe like living things. A sudden metallic clang echoed, like a heavy door slamming shut, though no door was visible. The group pressed on, their breaths ragged, their flashlights dimming as if the asylum itself drained their power. They stumbled into a basement stairwell, the air growing colder, thicker, as they descended. The whispers followed, now accompanied by faint screams, as if the walls themselves wept in agony. The basement was a labyrinth of rusted pipes and locked cells. Chains hung from the ceiling, swaying gently, though no breeze stirred the air. A faint glow emanated from the end of the hall, drawing them toward a massive, reinforced door labeled Isolation Ward. Layla, driven by a mix of fear and determination, pushed the door open, revealing a circular room lined with padded walls. In the center stood a single chair, its restraints stained with dark, dried blood. The glow came from nowhere, an unnatural light that cast no shadows. The group hesitated, but the door slammed shut behind them, locking with a deafening click. The whispers stopped, replaced by a suffocating silence. The camera's battery flickered, its screen glitching to show brief images of the group, not as they were, but as pale, hollow-eyed versions of themselves, strapped to the chair in the center. Sena screamed, dropping her flashlight, which rolled across the floor and went out. Rahil pounded on the door, his fists leaving no sound. Amir's camera caught a figure in the corner, a man in a doctor's coat, his face obscured by shadows, holding a syringe that dripped a black, viscous liquid. The figure moved toward them, its steps silent but deliberate. Layla, for the first time, showed fear, her bravado crumbling as she backed away. The room seemed to shrink, the walls pulsing like a heartbeat. The figure raised the syringe, and the group's screams mingled with a sudden burst of static from the camera. The screen went black, but the audio continued, a cacophony of wails, laughter, and pleas, all distorted as if played backward. When the camera flickered back on, the group was gone. The chair in the center was empty, but fresh blood dripped from its restraints. The figure was gone, but the syringe lay on the floor, still oozing black liquid. The camera, now on